Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Matty.
And I'm Lewis.
This is the Wigan Way, Wigan's favourite rugby league podcast.
He'll put you in his trap 'cause he's a union man. He's got it all figured out. He won't care what you think 'cause he's a northern man. He's allowed to speak his mind. His
The Wigan Way podcast is brought to you by Cherry and White Pins, a local Wigan Warriors themed pin badge company with a variety of Wigan ranges. You can get free shipping on all orders when you use the code The Wigan Way, that's The Wigan Way, all in capitals, at checkout. Thanks to them for supporting the show.
Matty, thank you for joining us this week on the Wigan Way. Another episode where we can review another 2 points for Wigan. Always nice to get off 2 points, especially after the week off.
8 matches in a row win streak.
Yeah, it's tough. It's not something that we've done particularly well in, really, playing the week after a week off.
Yeah.
Apart from the playoffs in the last couple of years where we've had that game off and we've looked like we've needed it. Traditionally, it's not something we've done well with. And we've probably lost a few games based on that in the past.
I think that's fair, yeah.
So the fact that, you know what, if you said to me before this game we can take 2 points, I'm extremely happy.
Yeah.
Just get a win. Can't say I'm particularly happy with the performance. It wasn't a great performance from Wigan.
No, I don't think anybody will be, but no. It's always good to get the win. I think, there's a lot of things that went into this performance. The new ground, that was completely different. The dimensions were different. Obviously, that plays its part. Huddersfield, for their part, were up for it.
Yeah.
And the first try they scored was particularly nice. They used the field position they got quite well with a couple of crash over tries. They played safe when they were 8 points in front, which, last week we were saying you should play safe when you're 8 points in front. But Wigan just about had enough in the end.
Yeah, and it sounds like a bit of a cop-out response, but winning when you play poorly is a good thing long term.
Yeah.
We're not going to be firing every week. And nor should we be expected to. So I just think sometimes you just got to get 2 points. It's 2 points on the leaderboard. And
Well, we stole it. But if you think about it, last year we stole that one at Salford, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
And that came in handy when it came to the League Leaders Shield.
yeah,
And the same sort of thing happens every season, where you steal a game, usually away from home, a game that you probably shouldn't have won, you didn't deserve to win, where you played terribly, but you just stole it with a moment of magic, usually from one of your big name players. And at the end of the season, you maybe look back and think, oh, we got second place or we got first place thanks to those games.
Yeah.
And if I think back last year, the Salford one I just mentioned away from home, the Warrington one the week before the cup final, where we won by a drop goal.
We had a game just after Magic, didn't we? We played Cass. Just after the cup, we played Cass, and we didn't play great, but we walked away with 2 points.
We rescued it there as well. I think that's the same thinking I have about this game. It's an escape.
Yeah.
But if you're going to win things, you need to escape. And all the talk about how amazing Hull KR have been, they escaped against Wakefield.
Yeah. Cass as well.
And they escaped against Cass. Yeah, so teams are escaping, they have to escape. Big teams have to escape because you're not going to be firing on all cylinders every single match. It's impossible to do that 27 rounds of the year.
Exactly. While you mention Hull KR, I actually want to just mention how that would affect Hull KR, really, because they win the Challenge Cup final last week. We're going to have a week off. They had a good win against Catalans, and we'll talk about that more later on. And then you flick onto the game and you see Wigan might lose, and you think, actually, the week after Wembley, it's us that's meant to slip up. So actually, you go from thinking, have we made 2 points in the race for first place, And suddenly to lose the game in the way that Huddersfield did, the last seconds, can just be a little bit flattening. You go, oh, they've not slipped up there.
I don't think they'll be bothered. I wouldn't be. If she was on the other foot, I wouldn't be bothered.
No, but I just think you're suddenly thinking we've got 4 points gap. Bit of breathing space.
But you've still got to play them again. It's all in your hands anyway, isn't it?
I don't know. I just think that there's something there, winning games that you probably shouldn't, especially when you've got a team that wants you to lose to help them out. It's always a little bit frustrating, really. Right, we should start off with the main man, Liam Marshall.
Yeah.
Scores the opening try. Typical Wigan, ball out to Wardle, finds his man and Marshall goes in.
Yeah, nice work from Junior and Samba in the build-up to this. Crashing into the line, turn, an offload. Well taken try.
Yeah. We should mention Liam Marshall, now Wigan's all-time Super League try scorer.
Yes, on his 200th game as well.
Announced that he's going to get a testimonial next year. What a player he's been.
Well, yeah, it's been fantastic, hasn't it, for the club? We've been a real great servant. A lot of tries now, and doesn't show any signs of slowing down. That's the scary thing.
I've got to give him credit, because when he first came in, I can't remember the exact year he came in, 2016.
Well, it would have been 2016, wouldn't it?
I can't remember if he'd played a cup game earlier before that or whatnot.
But if it's his testimonial next year, then it'll have to be.
Yeah, sorry.
2017 would have been his day. Is that how it works? Is it your 10th year? Or after 10? I never know.
But the point is he had a few flaws in his game. He wasn't particularly the greatest under the high ball. In his meter making wasn't the greatest.
He was stuck behind for a while. He was stuck behind Burgess, Manfredi, Tom Davis. I remember him and Tom Davis doing a best of three, like pool darts, something competition to see who got the last locker in the training. Because they were both coming through together.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then the Challenge Cup final where Marshall finds out he's playing at the last second. And then we end up losing. Then he has the redemption in 2022 where he plays in the Challenge Cup final, scores the winning try. And then that really just kick-started his rise, really, because he then was selected for England at the end of that season. Had a brilliant 2023. Top try scorer in 2024.
Flying in 2025.
Yeah, flying in 2025 now with another great season. Looking like it's on the horizon. The good thing is, and I don't want to put the mockers on him or anything like that, but he's been available, he's been versatile, he's been reliable, hasn't he, for all those years. And
you've got to mention as well, at the start of his career, he had a couple of bad injuries, didn't he? One that ruled him out of the grand final in the COVID year.
Yes.
He had a couple before that. But I talked about his potential flaws when he first came in. His meter making now is phenomenal. It's up there with the best in the league.
His defence isn't a problem. His partnership with Wardle is one to cherish and remember for years to come, I think.
Definitely. He's as safe as anybody else in the league under the high ball. And he's worked so hard on it. And he's made himself one of the best wingers in Super League.
That's why I like his story, I think, so much.
Yeah.
Because for every Junior December who's a very high ability when he's young and crashes onto the scene and is immediately one of the best players in the competition, there's a Liam Marshall who works his absolute backside off. And I'm not saying that they both have to. That's the whole point of this game. That's why it's such a demanding game. They both have to work their absolute backsides off. But it's nice to see Marshall be the main man.
Yeah, and you know what? He's putting himself in the conversation for England.
Yep.
He's with a strong opportunity. There'll be conversations to keep him and Wardle together with that combination that they've got. He's really put himself forward and made himself almost, I'm not going to say a lock, but he's in the 3 or 4 man conversation.
Yeah.
He's probably in the squad as it stands.
He's in the conversation, yeah.
So, Wigan score, Liam Marshall. It's Huddersfield to score next.
Was, yeah.
Good play.
Nice try, this.
A lot of bodies in motion, something that we always talk about. Important. And sometimes you just have to hold your hands up and say it's a good play. Obviously disappointing to concede, but...
Yeah, I think the disappointment for me comes not from at the actual concession of the try, but for the concession of possession so close to the line, and giving away repeat sets, and there was a lot of tackles down there in this game, and for me, that's the reason they scored this try. It's not anybody's fault. It's not anybody biting in it. It's just good bodies in motion. Put the guy who's the fastest into some space, and he's going to score. We do it to other teams, and we praise it all the time.
Yeah, you have to.
I think this one, obviously, we can talk about bad defence for some of the other tries, maybe, but for this one, I think it was just a good move.
Yeah, you have to praise them.
And the problem we had was letting them come so close, so they could put on a good move. If that makes sense.
It's the field position element.
Yeah.
So that's in the 20th minute. They got 6 points to 4 up. And the game sort of ebbs and flows, 15 minutes before George King scores for Huddersfield. Now, this one is probably one. You can talk about poorer defence.
Yeah, again, though, it's weight of possession on the Wigan line, and all 3 of their tries were scored from play the balls close to the line, really close to the line. So that's clearly a advantageous position to be in. So letting them be there is the problem.
A lot of the tries I'm going to say all the tries that we conceded. If you were asking a team where you want to start a set, it's where they started them from.
Yeah,
close to the line, not having to do too much. A little bit of poor defence from Wigan, obviously allowing a crash over. It's not a typical try that Wigan concede, a prop crashing over. But it was Farrimond and I think it was Dupree that were sort of scratching at shirts, really. He was already through the line and it was a little bit too late, really.
Yeah, he timed it, didn't he?
Yeah. So that's half-time, 12 points to 4. Nothing too drastic to say, really, from Matty P, I don't think. Clean up the errors.
He would have been disappointed in that try conceding just before half-time, make it 12-4, especially because that makes it 2 scores then. But I think he'll have still had faith in his team. Like we always say, if we're still in the game, we've still got a chance, because we've got the good conditioning, we've got, moments players.
We'll talk about one of the moments straight after the second half. He's one of the moments players, but it's actually hard work again. We actually just praised Bevan French when we watched the Penrith game for doing something similar to this, but from a kick, getting ahead of the line and putting pressure on the fullback. Field does that, hits Flanagan as he's catching the ball.
Drops it, doesn't he, backwards.
Drops it backwards. Huddersfield play doesn't diffuse the situation. How many times have we talked about this? Just dive on the ball and ground it. Kick it into the crowd.
Down on the ball and ground it.
But Field gets up, works hard, that 1%, grounds it, gets his try, and deserved for the effort that he showed in this try.
Yeah.
So the game's close again. They have it confirmed that it's a try, it's 12 points to 10. And a little bit disappointing when Joe Greenwood goes in to score.
Yeah, it is very disappointing just to, off the back of scoring your try to get yourself back in the game, to then piggyback them down with a penalty and to once again allow them really close to the line.
Yeah. I think this is a case of numbers not being numbered up right. Yeah. When you see that Farrimond is one-on-one with Joe Greenwood.
Yeah, it's just not a good sign, is it, that?
No, you're half-back on any second rower. If we saw that, you'd be asking December and Farrell to run over the second rower, or Walters or whoever's playing in the second row.
Yeah.
So you can't criticise Farrimond. I think it's just a case of being numbered up wrong, and that's what happens through weight of possession on the line.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
Greenwood scores, and that then leaves the game at 18 points to 10 with 15 minutes to go. 8 minutes from the end. It's getting to pressure time, really. You've got to score next. And Wigan do just that. Play from the right-hand side, 40 metres out, through the hands, and it finds Jay Field. Now, one of the important bits of this is December's line and how hard he's running. He had a really good game, one of his best games of the season, really, with his damage and his carrying. But it just gives Field a little bit of room on the outside of Adam Clune. Draws the full back and finds Farrimond backing up on the inside.
He doesn't need much space, does he, Jay?
No, and if you can just get him half a yard, get him on the outside shoulder of someone, you're in danger. It's getting to game overtime, really. Finds Farman back on the inside. Kieran converts, and that's 18 points to 16.
Farimond doing what every good halfback does, flying up the middle for support.
Yeah. Now, before we go on to his last try, obviously he got the double. There was a moment, a key moment, really. Wigan set up with a scrum, 10 metres out.
Yeah.
And you look like everything's going.
I mean, we've got them there. Just look at that freeze frame there where the ball's at the back of the scrum. We have got them. There's so much space there to the right of the post, and then you're obviously dragging the defenders in, trying to score out wide on the right, but we've got them there.
Smith's gone. Field and Farriman are on the same side.
Yep.
Kieran's running a hard line. Eckersley's in space.
We've got them.
And Burgess pushes. It's not something you see a lot in Super League, but big moments. You need your players to step up with the big action. And to be fair to him, he's done that here.
Yeah.
Done something 1%, 2% extra. I remember a couple of times with Wigan doing it early on Maguire as a bit of a statement of whatever, but it was always early on in games. This little late on in games to get your team the ball back, it could very easily cause a penalty. If you get it wrong, and suddenly it's 18-18, you would expect Wigan to then take the two if it had gone wrong.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a big risk, but he gets the reward for it. He gets the ball back for his team. Now, 18 points to 16, 2 minutes left, 2.5 minutes left, should be clear with that. Wigan are probably going to get one set. If you were Huddersfield, would you take that at the start of the game, one set on your line?
Of course you would.
And
one set to defend on your line? Yeah, of course you would.
It's a weird one, isn't it? So much pressure coming down to the end of the game. And we're going to talk about what he does. But Farriman does get the try. When he grounds it, there is 1 second left on the board. You've got to... We'll talk about it, and I'm going to mention the tweet that I saw from, I think, his brother or his dad about... On Friday night, he was doing a coaching session with under-11s about staying in the game. And he's back there.
Keep yourself in the game at all times. You never know when... And this, if you're 2 points down, you're always in with a chance of winning the game. And it's very much like what we said last week about Hull KR. They stayed in the game, then landed the knockout below because they were within touching distance.
Yeah.
And they went from losing to winning in a heartbeat. And that's the beautiful thing about rugby league. And that's... what we saw here, exactly the same thing. It's
the brilliance of our sports, and to be fair, any sport that doesn't go up in ones.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that last week, didn't we?
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah. Now, 7 seconds left. Play the ball. Cruz Liam into Brad O'Neill, to Cade Ellis, to Field. Smith on the left-hand side, maybe a bit of a decoy with December. But Field gets it at third receiver, as the third man. And now you're asking your big Aussie signing to make the right decision.
To quote Bill Cope, that's why we bought him.
Yeah.
Every time he does something like the try against Hull KR in the home game last year or the tackle on Taylor May, that's why we bought him.
Yeah. He's got several options here. Kieran is running a really, really hard, flat, aggressive line. Farrell is running a really hard, aggressive line.
He's mixed up your redheads.
So is Kieran on the outside of him. That's where I was going, but I got the names wrong, the wrong way around. So you've got two short options. You've also got Farriman out the back as almost like a fourth block play.
Yeah.
And then Eckersley. And he picks Eckersley out with a brilliant pass, good height. And we've got to mention it. He then finds the pass back inside to Farriman. Farriman dives at Ash Goulding, who doesn't know where the ball is. He's turned and he's trying to get back in field. But the talk has been, should Eckersley have gone for it himself? I think there's a couple of reasons why he's made the right decision. He's made the right decision because he scored.
Well, first of all, it doesn't matter. Yeah, the result is we score a try. It doesn't matter. But yeah.
But he has to turn back in on himself. The pass was a little bit behind him, and that's just stopped his momentum, really. He's got 4 Huddersfield players coming to clatter him.
Yeah.
And he's not a Bas Miski, is he? He's not a Ryan Hall that's really big and powerful and strong, or Liam Marshall, who's practiced these corner finishes time and time again. He is naturally a centre, full back.
The other angle to me, you look from the other angle at where Goulding is, it's Goulding, isn't it? Where Goulding is when Farriman gets the ball. He's overchased already. So he's going to have a chance to put Eckersley in touch with the Goulding. Yeah. Whether it does or not, you don't know. Eckersley's a good finisher. Maybe he scores, but it's not quite as clear-cut as you can see from the first time.
He's took the risk, hasn't he? He's gone across early to try...
That's his only option.
Yeah. The pass back inside just sends Ash Goulding into he doesn't know where the ball is. He's got to turn back on himself. And Farriman does really well to just almost dive at his legs when he's facing the wrong way. Either way, it doesn't matter now.
Yeah, it's a try. It's a try in the book. It's you don't have any pictures on the official Super League table. It's a try, isn't it? So the decision was made. And the decision was made correctly to pass back inside. Maybe he would have scored. But then I always said that about Willie Icer in the World Cup Challenge. Maybe he would have scored. But who cares? We did score.
Exactly.
Ball don't care who scores the try.
I like that saying.
Yep, the ball doesn't care who scores the try.
No.
It cares who kicks the goal because Liam Marshall stepped up and nailed it from the touchline.
Yeah.
In game 200.
Well, there's something special about that, isn't there? 2022. Obviously.
There's something special about diminutive wing. This is so niche now. Diminutive wingers kicking goal from the right touchline of Huddersfield away. Who am I thinking of? A diminutive winger kicking a conversion from the right touchline away at Huddersfield. It was actually at Huddersfield John Smith Stadium.
You got me stumped here.
Brian Carney. His last game.
Yeah.
And he absolutely drilled it down the middle, piped it, didn't even think about going to the side. And Marshall's was just saying.
Do you reckon he practised?
Yes. Yes, I do reckon he practised.
Because I fully believe Papali'i practised.
Oh, Papali'i's been practising for years, I think, because he doesn't know he's not supposed to kick goals. He doesn't realise what a forward is.
But that takes it to 22 points to 18. 20 points to 18.
And then Marshall's goal.
And then Marshall converts it to make it 22 points to 18. And listen, I think Huddersfield can feel a little bit disappointed that they've not got something out of this game.
Yep, they deserve something out of this game, but that's just the way it works. We've deserved things out of games that we've not got before, and that's just the way it works.
And they'll have won games that they didn't think they should have won anyway, and it's always the case, and they'll win some in the future that they probably don't deserve to win. They've
definitely turned a bit of a corner, though, haven't they?
Yeah, I think
the last few weeks they've been competitive. They won at Magic Weekend. They were competitive this one. They're not the easy beats that they were at the start of the season.
Do you not think they found a settled lineup a little bit?
They found a bit of a settled spine, and they found a bit of form for Flanagan.
Yeah.
But I just think that they're just clicking a bit more.
Yeah, they've done a few changes, haven't they, obviously?
They've changed a lot.
Jacob Galgao was signed as a full-back. He's playing his natural centre position. They've got Flanagan, Lolohea and Clune settled in.
Wolford's back from injury. He's a big, important player for them as well, isn't he? He missed a lot of time early in the season.
Burgess has settled in now, playing longer minutes. The forwards are fighting their own, and sticking in there. And they're just starting to find a little bit of combinations. And
just starting to get a bit of form. I mean, it's they're not going to be pulling up any trees this year, but they're certainly more competitive. Than they were.
We actually talked about this with Cass under Danny Maggs, and it's the same thing here under Robinson. He's not going to fix it in a year.
No.
If they back him for 5 years, then he might bring that success, because this is a squad overhaul, and it's going to be hard work to do. But yeah, let's finish it off with a little bit of Wigan chat. Obviously, 2 points. Keeps us right in the chase for top spot.
It does.
And I think we'll just start ticking over now. 14 weeks into the season, isn't it? 15?
14, I think.
14.
We lost 5 games last year in the league. We've currently lost 2, and we're at the halfway stage. Over halfway, actually.
Yeah.
I know we lost 1 in the Cup. But if we're talking just league, we lost 5 last year. Can you see us losing 5 this year?
We've got to go to St Helens.
We've still got to go to St Helens and Warrington.
Yeah. Neither of them teams are in great form, but you can almost, another rugby league cliche, but throw the form book out for the derby and all that stuff.
But we've still got to go to Catalan again, which...
Yeah.
But we've been to Headingley, we've been to Craven Park. We've done all our trips to Hull.
Yeah, we've done all our trips to Hull. Sorry, I was just trying to run it over in my head.
We've got Wakefield.
Hull
We've only got 3 of these away games. You know, we've had 7 away games in a row. We've only got 3 left.
And who's that? Sorry, Wakey.
Cass. And someone else.
Again, we can get out with it. We were
Lee.
saying, Lee. We were talking about if we could get through these games and maybe lose one of them.
Well, we thought maybe the Lee one would be the one,
But we could have lost one here.
Yeah.
We got an extra win that we probably didn't deserve.
And if we think about this, I made the comparison the other day. The Wakefield 2023 Golden Point loss.
Oh, Jesus, what?
The Hull FC loss last year. In fact, the Hull FC loss in both those years, where we should have won, but we just decided not to turn up and then still nearly won all those games by comebacks. And you think, if we'd have just stolen that one, away at Wake, or if we'd just stolen that one away at Hull, we'd be comfortable now. It don't work like that, does it? Here, we actually did steal it, so we'll see how comfortable we are.
Yeah.
If we are ever comfortable ever again, which I don't think we will be. But we stole one.
Yeah.
And last year, everyone talked about the loss to Hull FC, but no one talked about the steal away at Salford, really, apart from us. Like, for every one you get, you stole one to make sure that you could slip up in the future.
Yeah.
We've stolen this one. So if we do slip up in the next few weeks, we're still not dead and buried.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And
Oh, that makes sense.
but it does. You get your points early. We always talk about resting people towards the end for the playoffs and what do you do and whatever. You don't want to be in a situation where you have to win at the end, because then you don't have an option. At least have the ticket, have the ability to do what you want and decide how you want to play it. Win early and then get it on later. Now, obviously, you talk about our run. We have to go to Saints away. We've got to go to Warrington away. The big one is going to be Hull KR coming to us.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of pressure on that game. Us for wanting to win silverware. And Hull KR are going to win that game.
They need to beat us.
They need to beat us
Yeah. They need to beat us.
when it matters in a big game.
It's over 12 months since they've beaten us. They need to beat us.
And that just sets this league up so nicely. A lot of pressure games.
Yeah, it is an exciting league. It's a fun league this year. And when we go around the grounds, I think we'll talk. There's been some fun games this week.
Yeah.
There's been a bit of fatigue last few weeks about blowout scores and all this, but there were some fun games this week.
Definitely.
We're going to talk about.
Definitely. I'm going to say this before we finish the session. I actually had a look through the next 6 or 7 rounds. And every round there's at least one game that's going, that'll be interesting. I want to watch that. So,
Yeah.
rugby league's looking good at the moment and it's a good situation.
Yeah.
Right, we'll take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll go through the news. Right, Matty, as you do every week, you've been keeping an eye out. What has caught your eye from the land down under?
Yeah, well, for first time, I'm going to do 3. I'm going to do Dom Young, I'm going to talk about the Dolphins, and I'm going to talk about Origin. So which one do you want to hear about first?
We'll start off with the Pom.
With Dom Young?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Dom Young has left the Roosters and rejoined the Knights. But he played, I think, at the weekend for the Roosters against the Knights. So there's a weird situation where apparently he drove all his belongings to Newcastle, which isn't that far, really. It's a couple of hours, isn't it? Drove all his belongings to Newcastle, put them in Kai Pearce-Paul's house, where he's going to be staying, then drove back to Sydney to join the team again to play against Newcastle. So just a weird one there. But he has officially, as of Monday
I
morning.
was going to say, it was the day after the game, wasn't it?
I can't remember if it was Sunday morning or Monday morning. I saw it this morning. Joined
During the night.
the Knights again. So, weird one. We thought that might happen.
It's never quite settled for him,
No,
has
it
it?
never really worked. He's done 18 months,
Yeah.
so he had plenty of chances, but he was never really the same player he was when he was at the Knights.
There is something about certain players fitting a club. And Dom Young always felt like he fitted the Newcastle Knights. Do you know what I mean? Like, nothing scientific about it or whatever, but he just seemed like... Didn't feel like the Roosters was a fit for him.
Hopefully he has a brilliant second half of the season and can be firing on all cylinders for Ashes.
Yeah, she-
Now, the second one, shall we do Dolphins next? We'll save Origin for last. I just wanted the Dolphins are absolutely flying. Watch some of the tries they scored at the weekend. They're absolutely flying. They just pumped somebody else. They pumped the Cowboys this week. They won. They scored 50 points last week. They've had 3 back-to-back huge wins, I think, off the top of my head. And they're just playing really, really well. They're the form side in the comp. Bulldogs are top, Raiders are second, but I think the Finns are the form side in the comp right now.
They really are, the way they're playing.
This
There's
was
another
without-
50 points this weekend.
This was without Hammer. Avarillo went to fullback and Hammer was rested for Origin. Obviously, no Origin players across this whole weekend.
Yeah.
So no Hammer. Avarillo went to fullback and just didn't miss a beat. Cody Nicarima for them. He's been fantastic, hasn't
You got to do it, haven't
he?
you?
Absolutely fantastic.
They're looking really, really good.
They're looking fantastic as well, the Dolphins.
How well's Herbie doing, by the way?
Yeah.
He's flying.
Yeah, Herbie's doing very well.
Yeah, they put a video out the other day, the Dolphins. You know what they do, like the 3v2 and you got to make the right pass.
Yeah. He was doing a
Making
flick pass,
passes
yeah.
backwards over his head, like that's a man full of confidence.
Oh yeah, he's got all the confidence in the world right now, Herbie, and hopefully he keeps that up as
Carries that into England.
Yeah, hopefully he can carry it into England. But I've just been for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
we know with the Dolphins. Origin then, game 2 is fast approaching. It is this week on Wednesday, and there's been lots of injuries, as there always seems to be. There always seems to be a lot of injuries in game 2 or game 3.
I always think it was between game 1 and 2. There's always a big
injuries.
one between game 2 and 3.
Yeah.
The 5 or 6 injuries there.
So Mitch Barnett was the first injury. He
Yeah.
might have actually been in the game off the top of my head. Max King's going to start for them, and Stefano's coming onto the bench. Then there was just a flurry the other day where Kolo Matangi had a fractured eye socket, I believe, which I didn't know was an injury rugby league player suffered until this year. We've had 4 or 5. Then they were going to put Olakawatu in, and he was taken off injured with a bad wrist.
Yeah.
Or
It's in the art of scoring a try. It was
it
like
looked-
an elbow.
It looked gross, like elbow wrist type thing was looking a bit limp, so he's not playing either.
Mitch Moses.
Mitch Moses is a big one. These are all just Blues players. Mitch Moses is a big one. Luai's coming for him. For the Maroons, there's been injuries. I know DCE's been dropped in favour of Tommy Dearden.
Yeah, well, they've made a change with Mo Fothawake and named us starting prop, haven't they?
And then they've switched
Pat
sides
Corrigan.
for the wingers.
Yes.
So now you've got Colts going up against Lomax, maybe.
There's 2 really good players in the air, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you've got Val and Colts going together, and Hammers on the other side. So I think that's probably a defensive-minded switch.
Isn't it Robert Toyer?
Well, that's who played the first game at centre, and Val was on the wing. But in all the training pictures I've seen from this week, Colts is lined up outside Valentine Holmes, and Holmes is playing centre outside Munster, which is a complete shake-up. So,
Oh, yeah.
that might work. That might work.
They need a change, don't they? Something wasn't right. And
Well, then what do they do on the other side? They have Hammer. They have Robert Toyer. That's 2 centres. One of them will have to drop.
the whole point of Robert Toyer was that he dealt with Luttrell 2 weeks earlier for the Roosters. So would you put him, a guy who's only played 12, 13 NRL games, out of position?
I don't know. I mean, this is all speculation because team was named and they didn't make that many changes, but from the training pictures, it looked like that's what they were going with. They were going with Fowler centre. Weird one, but we'll see.
Really interesting.
We'll see.
Got to mention, obviously, you briefly mentioned it, DCE.
Yeah, for Tommy Dearden.
Dropping the captain after all that talk about Queensland and we don't drop our captain.
Yeah, weird one, that, isn't it? Because Tom Dearden has been fantastic every time he's played for Queensland. But so's DCE. I mean, really, DCE's a fantastic player. And the amount of stick the Blues got for dropping their captain, which was Jake Trbojevic, for the Queenslanders now to follow suit and drop DCE, it's a bold call.
Yeah, I listened to the Gus Gould podcast this morning, and he was talking about it. He went, does it really matter who plays in the halves if your pack's going to get as dominated as it did? Yeah. But
we just talked about New South Wales injuries. They don't know who to pick up prop.
No, but you know you go in. Payne-Haas, Spencer, Max King.
Yeah, it's 3 big props.
Isaiah Yore's going to play 13.
Yeah.
The second rowers had a field day.
They did, yeah. Martin and Crichton.
Yeah. So you're thinking you've got to win that battle.
Yeah.
And he sort of said, well, if you're going to lose that battle, who's the halfback that can deal with it? The guy who's been there and done it and time again. But
I think they're just going to give the keys to Cameron Munster like they did in 2020 in the COVID season.
I think they have to.
Give the keys to Cam Munster.
And just tell Tommy Dearden to play second fiddle.
Yeah. I think that's what that's the last time that partnership really worked in that COVID season. That partnership really worked. And maybe they're just trying that.
Yeah, give him the captaincy, give him the responsibility.
It's worth a go. It's worth a go. We'll see what they do. It's must win, isn't it? It's Perth. Yeah, go on. Go for your news section then. While Lewis is absent.
Still filling in for Lewis. I've just moved over into his seat, you know.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Some good stories to start off with. Obviously, Wakefield, and we'll talk about the result at the weekend, but they had a special kit for charity, and it was for Daryl Powell's grandson.
Yes.
He's fighting a battle against cancer.
Yeah, he got diagnosed in January.
Yeah, with leukemia.
With leukemia, and he brought the teams onto the pitch, dressed with a superhero outfit and a cape. And
he's been going through a lot of treatment over at Leeds Hospital. And it's just a really good story. Daryl Powell's done an article, an interview with the BBC. If you go and read that and listen to that, but he talked about how the lads have really supported him and supported him with a difficult situation. They've kept things as normal as possible for him.
I can't remember the number, but they've raised quite a lot of money for children with cancer in Yorkshire. Yeah. So it's a fantastic story from Daryl Powell and Wakefield. That, I know you said there it was on BBC website, but I didn't know about it until just half an hour ago when I just saw it on Twitter. It should have been huge news.
Yeah,
It should have been massive news, this, because this is a good story, and it's.
I was going to say, I don't think they've done like that. They're talking of auctioning the shirts off and things like that. I don't think they've done that yet. So obviously,
there's more money going to be rolled in. I just think with this, it's rugby league in a nutshell. It's taking a bad story or a bad situation and using it to help others.
Yes. Yeah.
That's rugby league in a nutshell. That's what the rugby league community does, and that's what we've done time and time again. And hopefully we can get another good positive news story for this young lad. But for now, at least he's already had a big impact on lots of other children in his county.
Yeah.
So fair play to him and fair play to Wakefield, and all the best to them.
Now we're going to talk about a couple of players. First of all, we're going to talk about Nenny McDonald. He's took unpaid leave to return to Australia. He must like them flights. Doing a lot of travelling.
He does fly a lot, doesn't he?
But obviously they've not really stated why he's gone back.
So. Well, I think Rowley was a bit vague. He was saying, he was in the what's it called? The salary cap. They were allowed to put in the functional salary cap or whatever. Then he was out of it. A few people came back and he was out of it. He's on too much money, basically. But they don't really want to let him go. So he's gone on unpaid leave for 3 months. with a door open for a possible. I mean, I'm still
Return
holding out,
once the money's
I'm still
sorted.
holding out hope for this money to come and this story to have a happy ending. But like I said a few weeks ago, it's looking less and less likely. Isn't it?
The longer it goes on, the less likely it gets.
I suppose so. Yeah.
You mentioned Paul Rowley's comments. I'm going to mention another one. He was accused of downing tools. Sam Stone.
Sam Stone was accused of doing
Yes.
tools, not Paul Rowley.
No. Sam Stone was accused of downing tools. He was in the 18-man squad to play St. Helens.
Yeah.
He's refused to play or refused to be available. It seems pretty much certain, it's not confirmed yet, but a move to Warrington is on the cards.
Yeah.
Now, this is
I'm torn on this because number one, good player.
Yeah.
But that's not even why I'm torn. Number one, culture at Warrington is always a buzzword.
Yeah.
And you're signing a guy who just refused to play for his
Yeah.
team that's paying his wages. Number two,
But are they?
well, they've been paid the last few months, haven't they? They're under sustainable cap. They've been
Late
paid.
and not on time.
Yeah.
And,
Number two, you've got to move to Warrington lined up. You jeopardise it by playing in a game against St Helens. You get injured, you don't have to move, whatever. So, listen, that's the reason why we have transfer windows in football, and that's the only time you can move a player. I'm not advocating for that to happen, but it's a tricky situation. Usually, when a coach calls his player like this, it's not a good sign. It's a last resort, isn't it?
And I find it really, really funny that the same week that Nene McDonald, we can't fit you under the sustainability cap, go and take unpaid leave. A guy who wants a contract somewhere else, probably a better situation, doesn't have to deal with the stress of money and getting paid, and you're not always worried about money coming in.
Don't have to move house.
Yeah.
You don't have to realign your life. You'll go in there and make a difference. You know you're going to get paid on time. It's a huge call for.
There's less drama around everything.
Yeah, and I mean, we all know how it's like to lose every week. It's painful.
Yeah, and sometimes you get to a point you've just had enough, and maybe he's hit the limit. I'm not putting words into his mouth, but I think it's really harsh to say that he's down tools, considering he's been available and played at every game that he's been possible. We're 14 league games into the season, when plenty of other people have left, and he's not really accused them of downing tools.
Well, we don't know the truth of the story, do we? But it seems a bit sensationalist to say he's down tools.
Yeah.
I think probably just annoyed that he wants to leave and annoyed that they can't keep him. I would be too, but that's the situation we're in.
I also put a situation of, imagine he doesn't go now, and a month's time the worst case scenario happens for Salford and they go. Into your quarter spot, Sam Stone.
Yeah. Well, I think he's played internationally for Malta, but he's definitely Australian.
My point being is, club might not have a quarter spot for him. He might not get a contract. Do you take that risk?
We've seen quarter spots. Joe Fengawi, Tom Amon. We've seen quarter spots be used, in late stages of the season.
But obviously, we're going to talk about the next one, but Judah Rimbu is leaving Castleford.
He is, yes.
They're eyeing, so they must be eyeing someone up already for a quarter spot.
Yeah, they're behind someone up. I can't think who, though.
No, I can't.
I can't think of who it would be.
I can't think of what position they would possibly look for. But it's one less for him. Who else has a quarter spot?
In the Castle would be looking for someone in the forwards.
That's what I mean. Who has loads of quarter spots? There's not a team sat with 7 quarter spots going, no matter what, we'll take you at some point.
Yeah.
So I can't really criticise him. I just can't do it.
I don't think I can criticise him.
Right. Now, not a player, but involved in match day activities. Wolfie. Can't believe I'm saying this on the news, but Wolfie has been criticised of, was it inciting the crowd at Wembley?
It's a load of rubbish. An absolute load of rubbish. Someone made an official complaint because the referee made a decision and Wolfie was waving his arms around shaking his head. Well, he's done that as long as I can remember. You don't make an official complaint about that.
No, it's a mascot. Like, come on.
It's a mascot doing what mascots do.
In a final.
They get under people's skin. This happened in the ice hockey final, and one of the mascots for Manchester's ice hockey mascot was warned for his conduct. Not even in the final, but he was warned for his conduct. They didn't even make the playoffs. It just feels weird that Wolfie, free the Wolfie one.
Yeah.
I
I knew I'd seen something that Warrington had been tweeting.
Well, Warrington, of course, jumped on board. And then their fans were disappointed that it's the day after a cup final that we've lost and you're tweeting things like this, free the Wolfie one, with him behind bars. I don't mind it, but you've got to get everything else right off the field if you're going to do things like that. If you're going to do things like that on Wizzy Rascal and the Luke Little Stadium, that's fine.
When you win.
No, not even when you're winning. I think that's just fine when everything else off the field, there's no noise coming out of the camp. There's no leaks. There's no unhappy players. There's no barbecue incidents. You know what I mean? There's no... Your coach isn't flirting with NRL teams, openly batting his eyes at them.
Yeah, saying, come and get me.
If you've got a first-team squad and coaching staff that is an absolute fortress and it's really solid, then you can do all this extra stuff. That's then fine. I think where the fans are annoyed is...
You've lost back-to-back at Wembley.
Yeah, you've lost back-to-back at Wembley, but it's not just that.
There's so many bad stories and rumours.
It's the rumours and the bad stories, people falling out and players not playing very well, the recruitment's not been fantastic. And it's just like, well, are they a well-run club? I don't know. The fans don't seem to think so. And if you're a well-run club that then does this whole Luke Little Stadium, Free the Wolfie one, all this, then you're getting away with it because it's extra, it generates clicks, it generates headlines, it gets people interested. If you're not a particularly well-run club and this happens, your fans are going to accuse you. And if you have a look at some of them comments, your fans are going to accuse you of prioritising the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Whether or not you are, and I genuinely don't think Warrington are prioritising the wrong thing.
But it doesn't help that opinion. If that opinion's already floating around...
Yeah. And not for 1 second do I think Warrington care more about social media clicks than success on the field.
No.
But the fans will think that.
Are starting to worry that that's the case.
And it feeds into that narrative, if you are doing things like losing at Wembley and then immediately free the Wolfie one.
And there's certain clubs at the moment you can't criticise for being more concentrated off field. No one will ever question that of Wigan at the moment, or Hull KR, St Helens. You can't criticise them off the field focus being in the wrong place because they haven't given the fans the opportunity to, really. Do you know what I mean? Leeds haven't given the opportunity to question how things are going. Wakefield, because there's the feeling of everything's dedicated to rugby league and that's the number one priority. I sort of get it. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way.
Do you know what I mean though about obviously with Leeds there's a big distraction and it threatens that all the bands and the razzmatazz of the Leopard's Den could be a stick to beat them with. Yeah. But that first team squad, I never hear a peep out of them that they've been fighting each other or that they've been falling out or that somebody's unhappy. Yeah. There's not any leaks. It just seems quite solid. Yeah. And so then it's good. It's good publicity.
No one can really ever go at you and then say, and you did this as well. You know, and you're tweeting rather than doing whatever. If you give 3 or 4 different opportunities, people will start bringing them things back up. Yeah. Right, my final piece of news. Now, probably the most excited I've been for a long time. Rugby League Live.
Is that what it's going to be called?
I don't know. I'm just going off the traditional.
Rugby League 26.
Rugby League 26.
Is that what it's going to be called?
It's the new Rugby League video game.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since we've had the last one.
Yeah.
Big Ants have said that they put serious time in developing it. It's going to be a top game, and this game, our sport deserves that. It deserves a video game that you can get kids playing. I don't want to be funny.
I just wanted to be playable. Please let it be playable.
Yeah.
If you think about the last one, it was
Make
fine.
it enjoyable.
It's not playable. It's It's nothing on patch of some of the other FIFA, 2K, Madden. They're all so slick and the graphics are all fantastic. This one looks a bit meh.
I've just saying, though, do you not think...
If I can just spam you with crossfield kicks to Xavier Coates, I'm going to do that.
But what I mean is make the game help Super League and Rugby League and the NRL, because...
I think the first image of it being Junior December scoring a try, and that's the first...
Who was left on the floor?
You know it was Matt Duffy?
I think so, yeah.
The first image of it being Junior scoring a try, and that's a perfect choice. The media down under are taking that, and that's the first image they've seen.
Yeah.
Now, I did see a guy complaining, saying, is this guy meant to be from Super League? He doesn't look like a human being. Or whatever. Is this meant to be Dom Young or whatever? Which I just think...
I think that's just down there.
That's just them being a bit snobby about the Super League, I think.
Of course it is. But, like I say, all the other games you mentioned all help make kids want to be involved in the league and...
Absolutely, they do, yeah.
Go home, get the game, and I know what it is, but when you're in FIFA, Billy or Messi, we have a game now, hopefully, that can do the same thing and make kids think about rugby, not just when they're at the game, but it become a bit of their life, really.
Imagine if it was like Team of the Season Jake Wardle. You got Team of the Season Jake Wardle, that would be a big deal. You know, if there was
take my money now.
If there was Future Stars, Jacob Douglas or something, I don't know.
Just take my money right now. Honestly, I'm throwing everything at it. Right.
What were them mad ones that they used to do? I mean, I've not played FIFA for years now, but what were them mad ones where they used to change positions? You'd have like
shapeshifters.
David Luiz up front. Imagine Harry Smith at prop.
I just hope this game's good. Because either way, I'm buying it.
Well, yeah. You're buying it. If nothing else, it's just the previous game. Even if it's just the previous game, but with updated squads and kits and all this. But you have to be ready for Chad Townsend to be rated higher than Bevan French. You have to be ready for that.
You know, any player who had a half decent career. Luke Keary's going to be the highest rated half back in Super League.
Yes, he will. Yeah.
Paul Vaughan will be the highest rated prop forward.
Paul Vaughan will be rated 88, and Ethan Havard will be 67.
Yeah.
Just know what's going to happen.
I'm trying to think. Kyle Felt is going to be the highest rated.
Oh yeah, winger. Kyle Felt will be the highest rated winger.
Conrad Hurrell.
No, he won't be rated high.
Oh, I bet you he will. He'll be in the 80s.
Kyle Felt will be rated higher. In fact, Jacob Gaga might be rated higher than Ryan Hall.
Yes. Yeah. Any ex-NRL player is going to be completely overpowered on this game.
Oh, you just get like Hal Flanagan is the better halfback than anyone in Super League.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm just having flashbacks of all the things that happened on the old game. Oh, Roy Azatazi.
Roy Azatazi with his 99 tackle bust, you could just fend off anyone.
Just run down the line, flicking the stick up.
He used to just be able to like scoot from 9 and slide in from 10 metres out.
Yeah.
What else was there?
There were some silly things, weren't there?
Like smashing someone and then diving on them for a flop.
Yeah.
Vossi and Eddie Hemmings were the commentary, weren't they?
If Vossi isn't in this game...
The ref's eyes... No, he is already.
Is he?
Yeah. The ref's eyes are painted on, he used to say. And he used to bring Eddie Hemmings in. Who's going to be our representative? John Wells.
Kyle
Amor. Yeah. Vossi, Gus Gould, and Kyle Amor.
I forgot his name. Is now eluding me. What's the Kiwi commentator?
My favourite. I can't remember his name. Andrew somebody.
Just everything should just be extremely loud and people shouting because it's brilliant.
Yeah, but when the Wires play, it usually is brilliant.
Oh, yeah. Right, we're going to take a break. That finishes the news. We're going to come back and go around the grounds. So we're back and we're going to jump around the grounds of Super League and take you through the results. 2 games in Hull on Friday. We're going to start off with Hull FC. They had Castleford at home. Both teams had a week off. you'd think both teams were fully up for it to be ready. Both of them probably needed a win. Hull to get back in the groove. They've had a few bad results back to back. Cass to keep in touch with that top 6.
Yeah.
But it's Cass to get the win. 22 points to 14. Now,
Yeah, they were good value for us as well.
yeah, I thought they were the better side.
I thought Dejanasi was the best player on the pitch for either side. I thought he was
Can't
fantastic.
disagree.
He settled into his role a bit more. I thought Cini was all right at fullback.
I think he's just an 8 out of 10 wherever he plays. He's going to be one of them players.
I'm not sure 8 out of 10.
No, but you know what I mean.
He's
A
solid anyway.
consistent, do a job for you, won't cause you any issues. You never have to worry about him, do you?
I'll never forget when they signed that Zach Cini, and one of the Australian experts said he's not very good at, and then basically listed everything you need to be a professional rugby player. Like, he's a centre, but he's not exceptional at passing. He's not ridiculously fast. He's not an amazing defender. He's not running with the ball. Well, what can he do then? Make the drinks.
Yeah.
Well, he's clearly proved he's better than whatever that bloke thought. So
Yeah. Both senior brothers scoring. Settled in at Cass and...
The Lewis Senior try, he took that like Keith Senior.
Yeah.
When he was playing centre, he stood somebody up, bounced him off, ripped through the rest of the team. They missed 3 or 4 tackles on him.
Yeah.
Gorgeous try.
Gorgeous. 22-6 with 8 minutes to go. Hull FC put a bit of a last throw of the dice and had a real good go. Lewis Martin scored a double, both out wide, both conversions missed.
Yeah.
The second...
Speaking of throwing, though, before you get onto this, the Harvey Barron try.
Yeah.
What a ball from Kate Cuss from 9.
From 9.
From 9.
Down low, you're thinking, like, find your first receiver.
No.
Just sprays it out there.
Basically, the Sydney Harbour Bridge arc into the winger's hands.
I don't think there's a better pass than that.
It's fun, isn't it, when that comes
But
off?
it dips as well and just drops in the breadbasket.
Good when that comes off.
But both these conversions missed made it a difficult task. First one put it to 22 points to 10, meaning with 5 minutes left he still had a chance.
Yeah.
The chip kick from Caesar to Martin leads into the try. I was a touch critical. You think he could have got a little bit closer around and made that kick a touch easier? Puts it to 22 points to 16 if they get it.
Yeah.
And there's still a chance. When it got to 8 points, there was never a chance.
Yeah. I suppose you're right.
And maybe that's me being a bit hypercritical, but you know, to keep your team in it, give yourself the best opportunity.
No, I suppose you're right.
Castleford, 2 much needed points. That puts them still in 10th, sorry. But actually, only 5 away from the top 6.
Yep.
They've got a couple of favourable fixtures they can look at and target after they get through these next 2 rounds. They've a couple of tough games, KR and then Wigan.
They've got the top 2 next, and then they've got some easy ones.
But Huddersfield, Salford. There's games they can target, though, to try and get a positive result this season.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I think they'll get top 6, but...
How many wins have they got now?
4.
Right. Double it, will that be a good season?
They get 16 points. It'll be touch and go if it's a good season. If they can get 5 wins, 5 more wins and get to 18, that'll be a brilliant season.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they can get just 1 more than double. I'd be really, really happy with that. But they're doing the right things. And
Well, I can't see Catalan getting to 18.
not at the moment. Should we talk about them?
Yeah. They've been pumped again. Mate, it can't keep going on like this, can it?
It can. That is going to happen every week, you know. We're going to alternate that joke until Catalan don't get pumped. Basically, because this is.
I saw a lot of people had some high hopes with this game because Hull KR coming off the back of being out all week, understandably so.
20-minute training session.
The 20-minute training session. We've seen how tough it is for teams to back up in the past. Catalan had a host of names back that they were able to name possibly their strongest 21 of the season.
Yeah, or at least for a while anyway.
Sam Tompkins then didn't play, and they had Rod Studd's favourite player, Guillermo Waspio-Robiche, at fullback. But they then lost by 62 points, which is this is the worst, the low point of this season. It has to be.
You know, if you're KR, you're thinking here, listen, let's send a decent team. Let's hope we can get 2 points. Yeah, the Catalans aren't in great form. A game we'd probably like after Wembley.
Let's try and win this one 26-10.
Yeah.
Let's try and have a boring win.
Yeah.
Where we can win, we can move on, we can get the cobwebs out, we can have a proper training session next week, and we'll be fine. Instead, what they did was just blow the absolute doors off Catalan, who were hopeless.
Yeah.
Now, it is worth saying that there were disciplinary issues leading to Catalan not having a full 13 for the rest of the match, for most of the match.
And obviously they were down to 11. But they dealt with that 11 men quite well. You can see 2 tries, 8 points. You'd probably take that being down to 11.
Yeah, probably.
But once Maria came back on the field, they conceded 2 in the last 5 minutes. Get in the fight again. It's 44 points to 6 with 15 minutes to go. And then the last 15 minutes concede 22. It's like, there's no grit.
It's ruthless from KR, though, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, you know what, playing nice rugby and showing off that you've won and all that side of it, yeah, you know what, I wish we were in a situation that you're playing at home after winning at Wembley and you could play some nice free-flowing rugby, fair play to them. But Catalan, I don't know what to say anymore. Maybe Steve Mack was holding them together, you know, and they kept losing. Yeah. Losing by 10-15.
Yeah, come on, lads, we can get into this next game, yeah. Well, I don't know.
No, I don't know.
Not
right.
Anyway, is it?
We're going to have to mention it. Ben Garcia.
Yep.
Red card. Looking at a big-ish ban.
6 it'll be, won't it?
Yeah. Gurady has been charged with.
Yeah.
So it starts obviously with a bit of pushing between Minchella and Partington. I don't know why Minchella pushes Partington.
No, it's kind of like a bit of a slap in it to his chest or something. It's weird. Obviously now they know the cameras are on him, so they can't throw a punch at the rope, which would have happened in the past. You know, when the ball's gone, the ref's looking the other way.
Yeah. Partington gives him a bit of a shove, and they have a little bit of a come together. But then you sort of think it dies off and whatever, and everyone goes back in defence. Only for Ben Garcia to come in and try and flatten Minchella, then try and punch someone else, where he manages to punch 2 people at once. He catches Mikey Lewis.
Well, I think Mikey Lewis might have just got a straight arm or something.
Well, so when you watch the second punch, it's not for Lewis, but it catches him on the cheekbone and then hits. I can't remember who he was aiming at, who'd run in. I don't know, I'll have to have a look at that.
It's a funny one, that, isn't it? Because really only Garcia will get done, but there were lots of punches thrown.
Yeah.
And not many connected, but lots of punches thrown overall by everyone.
Yeah. So, but it's a weird situation. No one's been charged for running in, have they?
No. If you're Ben Garcia and you've played here for most of your career, and you're someone with a big push on standards,
I'd be saying bye me.
And then this happens. Your team's losing every week, getting pumped. You've not got the excuse of not being paid. And then this happens, you see your mate in trouble. It's a tough situation for a professional to be in, especially somebody like Garcia who's been a good servant to the club. It'd just be frustration boiling over.
Just peed off.
Yeah.
Frustrated. I've had enough of us getting beat. We're better than this. We should be competing.
Yeah.
The game's not played on paper. But if you look at that squad on paper, they're a top 4 squad.
Yeah.
And
they're not 62 points worse than Ulker.
No.
Well,
no.
I think if you put the squads on paper, you wouldn't say anyone's 62 points better than anyone.
No. But maybe this is just frustration. Come on, get stuck in. And it's tipped over, and you know what, everyone has red flag. Sees red, and
I do know in the ice hockey world there was a team that were accused of not being tough enough, and then they had a players only meeting, and then the next game 4 of them got sent off for fighting. Mm-hmm. So it might have just been a sparky team. I mean, he's captain here, so it might have just been trying to spark his team up, and it's gone wrong.
If you lot aren't going to do it, I'm going to do it.
But then he's got it wrong because he's facing 6 weeks on sideline.
Yeah. Listen, I would say everyone thinks he's got it wrong. It's what do you do? What do you do? I don't know the answer to this.
Yeah.
Because it is situation, rip the book up and start again.
If you're Catalan, yes. Yes, and it's a shame because Tonkin's come out of retirement for this. He ain't going again.
No, not at all.
He ain't going again next year.
Right. Catalan, good. Sorry, Hull KR, good win. Catalan, drastically needs to
Must
improve.
try harder, yeah.
Now we played Saturday. There was another game on after us. Warrington went to Headingley.
Yes.
Now that you're picking playing after Wembley.
You don't want to go to Headingley?
No, it's like you don't want to go to Wigan or Saints or whoever.
Yeah.
You probably don't want to travel to Catalan. This was poor from Warrington. This was really poor.
Yeah.
Leeds were good. I'm not going to take.
I want to say that, but I want to say Leeds were really good. Leeds played some really nice rugby in this game and were well deserving of the 2 points. Leeds got it right, and when you are facing a team that's coming off a difficult loss at Wembley and you've had the bye, that can be a tricky situation. And they got it right. They played it just right, and I thought obviously Jake Connor gets the headlines. I thought Hanley was good.
I thought the middles were good.
I thought the middles were good. Yeah, I thought the middles were good. They got the rest out of like Lissone, who he's not been used very well so far.
I want to talk about something. We're about a year now with Brad Arthur, aren't we?
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
He was
Probably about, yeah.
Around that time. I'm not giving an exact thing, but
Maybe a bit less, but yeah, it was probably last summer, wasn't it?
and the team under Rowan Smith was accused of cheating the game and trying to do all the fancy stuff.
Taking shortcuts.
Shortcuts.
Yeah.
Brad Arthur, a very, very experienced NRL coach, has just told Leeds to play properly. He's coached them to be tough. He's made some really good signings. The Ryan Hall signing, an expert.
But I like that though. I like that.
No, that's what I'm saying.
We're just going to be tough. We're just going to be tough to beat.
I'm going to bring a winger in who wants to make 150 yards. He's not bothered about scoring tries. He obviously is. He's a winger. But do the dirty stuff. Do the hard work. We're going to play down the middle. We're going to defend well, and then I'm going to let Jake Connor, Brody Croft, kick us around the park.
Yeah.
Lockie Miller's my X Factor. I've got some X Factor in my two centres in Hanley and Newman.
They would have obviously been hoping for Sevo to be.
Yeah. But the young winger's not done too
bad.
bad.
Yeah, they've done well. They've done well without him. Yeah.
What I'm getting at is Leeds under Rowan Smith were in drastic situation, really.
It was really bad. It got
really toxic and it was really bad.
Yeah.
And I don't think Brad Arthur's made too many changes personnel-wise. It's just gone back to basics.
He's got them running harder, he's got them tackling harder, he's got them playing for each other. And that's easier said than done, but it's simple, isn't it? Simple game, really, when you boil it down to that.
And then you can play rugby. Once you've done that stuff, you can play.
And they played some gorgeous rugby. Yeah. They try for what was the one they went down the left and then passed it back.
Brody Croft ended up running.
Croft ended up scoring, but
he came back at the
play before was gorgeous.
And
sometimes George Williams looked a bit annoyed, didn't he?
Yeah,
because he did a try saver and then they just let him in easy on the next play.
Now we know Wembley has a big effect on you, win or lose. But I thought there was some poor signs from Warrington.
Yeah.
Poor defensive decisions.
Weirdly, I'm going to say a sentence I didn't think I would ever say. Weirdly, in defence, they missed Matt Duffy. Yeah. Not so much for his actual one-on-one tackling, which we know isn't his best shot, but for his organisation.
Yeah.
They looked like they'd numbered up wrong a few times, or the wrong player ended up in the wrong position. That's Duffy's job, isn't it?
They ended up a couple of times with big second rower flying through a gap and just no one dealing with it. And
the Cameron Smith tries, I suppose you could label them both of that.
Yeah, the Cam Smith try, the second one where he crashes over, not the kick. You look at that.
No, I'm talking about the one where he goes in without being touched.
Yeah, under the stick. Yeah, that's what
I think that was his first one.
Was it? I thought the kick was first.
I think that was his first one.
But that one, you look at that, and I was critical of Thewlis in this, but Fitzgibbon gets off the tackle and goes down the short side. The two other tacklers are almost at marker on the line, dealing with the immediate threat, and Thewlis just peels off looking tired, which he probably is. And then you look out and the numbers are all wrong. And Fitzgibbon's gone the wrong side. And Thewlis needs to go and help deal with that. And I'm not saying that they stop Cam Smith in that situation, but they put the effort in and they make him score in the corner. It looked tired. It looked lazy.
Yeah, and that's understandable, given the week they've had, but it can't be next week.
No, it can't be.
Yeah, can't be next week. So I think Warrington have got to get their act together sharpish. I mean, we're talking about them getting the 6, but they're way off it. What about Castleford maybe getting to 18? They're only on 12 now. Warrington. Is that 12 or 14?
They're on 12.
There you go.
They've won 6 from 14. The
Not good
three
enough.
off Hull FC. They've got Wakey in between them.
Yeah.
Everyone above them has got a better points difference.
Yep.
Which they're going to have to overturn at some point.
Yep.
And I don't think Warrington's run gets particularly easy. They've got Huddersfield next week.
Yep.
No, to be fair, it does actually when I look at that.
I can't remember them playing Salford.
The next 4 games, the next 5 games are Huddersfield at home, Hull at home,
Yeah.
Salford, Catalan, and Cass.
All right, so scratch that. They're probably on 20 points by then. You think
Probably 22 points by then.
will they get 4 out of 5 at least? Won't they?
Yeah.
That's a chance to build some confidence.
Yeah.
Lindop's out for the season. ACL. That's the 3rd ACL injury they've had. And it is
Who else have they had?
Jude.
They've had Ashton and
Leyland.
Leyland. Listen, everyone has injuries. It's tough.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to make this section about Wigan, but people keep saying we haven't had injuries, and Saints are in an injury crisis, and Hull KR have picked up injuries, and everyone has them. It's rugby league.
That's why I have a squad.
You have a squad, and I don't know. I don't like when you look at a squad building, looking at the 1 to 17.
You always like looking at 21 to 29, don't you?
19 to 26, 27. Because you get to 28, 29, 30, and you've got your...
them are young lads, aren't they?
Yeah. Do you remember when Hull FC named
40.
Named 40, but Scott Taylor at 37?
And Jamie Shaw at 39.
Yeah. And everyone said, look at the depth. And I went, yeah, but 21 to 35.
We'll never see the field.
We'll never see the field. And I think you need the best. If you want to be near the top, you've got to have a top 19 to 25.
Because you're going to need them.
They're
Play a
gonna
lot
have
of
to-
games.
All of them are
How
going to
many
have
games
to play.
Eckersley's already played?
You have to play 10 to 15 games minimum, all of them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, not all of them, but a lot of them.
Well, you can assume one of them's going to pick up an injury in one of them games. Cause
Yeah, but I'm just thinking somebody like Forber's played a lot of games, but Farmer's only played 3 or 4.
he's only played 3 or 4, but it could have very easily been another 2 or 3. He'd be sat on 6 already.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you will have some of those guys playing a lot of games, but not all of them.
Yeah, but I'm going to average it out at 10 to 15. Because
Yeah.
one of them will end up playing all season because you pick up an injury.
Probably, yeah, but Sam Walters is in that for us.
Yeah, and December did it last year when Icy
Yeah.
gets injured. He plays 20 games and
Yeah.
whatnot. And I'm just not impressed with outside of that 17.
Outside of the star men,
Yeah.
Warrington you're not impressed with.
No. And I'm
Yeah.
not. It doesn't particularly excite me. It doesn't think it's hard working. But Leeds, brilliant.
Yeah, they're doing well, aren't they?
Talk about squads. Leeds' squad, though, when you look at it. Jacksonfield played a lot of games and he's settling in now. He's
Yeah.
becoming his own player.
Yeah.
The young winger doing pretty well.
Morgan Gannon as well.
Morgan Gannon.
Yeah, coming in doing nice.
Looking really good. Right. That's Saturday finished.
Yep.
2 games on Sunday. First one, Wakefield League. Now, these kicked off 30 minutes apart. Weird timing. But
Yeah, bit weird.
who knows?
I like this one. This was a really fun game. Wakefield and Lee. 2 good teams, I think. 2 pretty evenly matched teams that put on a real show.
It's 2 teams at similar levels. Isn't it? I think Lee has still probably got the edge on them with that couple of years more Super League experience. But they're playing well, both of them. And Lee have found that bit of form that they needed because they were struggling for a spell.
Yeah.
Wakefield starting to suffer with some injuries.
They thought McNamara played well. Some weird comments though from his coach at full time. You picked this up and told me.
Yeah, he's had a great game, man of the match, but probably won't play next week because Gaz O'Brien's back.
And he's my favourite.
He's one of my favourites.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, every coach has your favourites, but I don't know. I suppose I wouldn't have suspected dropping one of your players that's helping you win games, and he was key in this game for the Leopards.
Yeah, he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant.
Now, Wakefield, they're just starting to struggle with a couple of injuries. They're missing a few big men in the middle on longish term injuries. By that I mean 6 to 10 weeks. We're not talking seasons done. But they're also not quickly back. And one of the guys who's having to step up for that is Mike McMeekin.
Yes. Oh, you're going straight into it. The Monster, Big Man of the Week, not affiliated with Monster.
Yes, I am. He was phenomenal.
I think Mike McMeekin might be the first 2-time winner because I'm sure we've given him before. Well, back in the early days of the Monster Big Man of the Week, not sponsored by Monster.
80 minutes, again.
Yes.
30-odd tackles, 6 from marker, 20-odd carries for 10 metres a carry. 2 offloads, no errors, no penalties.
Just so good.
Yeah, and
and we thought, good player, probably winding down. But he's not. If anything, he's got better.
I would argue he's got better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can disagree with that, to be honest.
I think he's got better. Really good player. We've got Wakey next, so it's worth thinking about them.
Yeah.
We haven't played them yet.
No, not played them yet.
Weird when we've played Wakefield so many times. We've played Hull 3 times. We haven't played Wakefield. We've played Huddersfield twice, Salford twice. We've played Hull 3 times, yeah, like I said. We've played Warrington twice.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
We've played Lee twice. And we're about to play Wakefield and Cass for the first time in back-to-back weeks.
Since we play them next week, let's have a little bit of a deep dive. Key man for Wakefield.
Well, I'm stuck between Lino and Jowett.
Jowett.
I think they make them tick. Those 2 players make them tick.
I think Jowett is really coming to his own. From being an okay player 2-3 years ago in Super League in a poor side to bossing it in the Championship, and now actually bossing it in Super League, and he's a key part of that successful Wakey side.
Yeah.
Truman's been a good signing for them.
He has.
He's finding his best form. But I look across that lineup and they've got some good pros and some...
For a promoted side, they're a good side, aren't they?
They're
not like a normal promoted side.
The back 5 today of Jowett, Russell, Hall, Pratt and Johnstone, that's a serious... And a lot of them getting several of the Super League sides.
Yeah.
They're now just supporting it. Jay Pitts has been really good this season.
Yeah. Jay Pitts has been good a lot of seasons. He's been a good player.
Yeah, I just think people are starting to recognise his ability, really.
Yeah, they're just got up on the touch of an old side.
Yeah.
They've got some good players coming through. Pratt, Rokes on the younger side, who they got from London. But just a touch of them, like you think McMeekin, Jay Pitts, Liam Hood's in his 30s, Lino.
They've already looked at replacing Liam Hood. They've signed the last.
Yeah, they've replaced Liam Hood. They've got the Brisbane lad, Smoothie.
I'd look at what Lee have done. They took that oldish side,
regenerated it. Yeah,
they regenerated it better than I thought they could.
Yeah. That's the blueprint, isn't it?
Yeah, they replaced Moylan for Armstrong. They replaced Tom Amon.
Asiata with Leo. Latelli with
Amila Hanley and Tessie New.
Yeah.
They've replaced Hardacre, Ed Chamberlain with some younger options. They've still got experience.
Ollie Holmes.
Yeah.
With Ethan O'Neill.
Yeah. Isaac Lewis is not a young player, but he's got 2 years on Asiata. So he's got a little bit more legs, a little more energy. and just keep things fresh until you settle into your.
Hengawi was a big one as well. They brought him in for Amon, I suppose you could say.
Yeah. See, they never really replaced Amon, did they?
Not until they got Joe, who scored the winning try in this game.
Mm.
I do think that McNamara could have got himself and scored.
Yeah.
But again, like we said with Eckersley, if you give the pass and your teammate scores, you've got to be happy with the outcome because you've guaranteed the points.
Yeah, and I actually thought this more at the time, but when I watched it back today, there is a couple of covering defenders that are going to have a go at McNamara. I still think he scores. But by giving the pass inside, he actually takes them defenders out of play, really, and Offengawi scores a really good try to win the game.
Yeah.
Two sides. Could you imagine 2-3 years ago saying these two could potentially both make the six?
I like these two sides. I like them playing against each other. We need more of this. What Super League needs to be is, ideally, teams like this all the way down to 12. And say we've got a 14-team league, your teams in the mid-table are all like this, and then it extends down. Because you should have good teams missing out on the playoffs, rather than bad teams making it into the playoffs.
Yeah.
In the past, we've had bad teams or average teams making it in. Whereas you think, right now, we might have that, but back in the day, you would have good teams missing out.
If we're calling Catalans not making it, 1 to 8 could all be in there. So there's jeopardy. Last year it was 1 to 7. We're really competing.
Yeah, and I don't want them to fall away, 7 and 8, but I also would rather that be 1 to 12 are competing and maybe 13 and 14 are out.
Yeah.
Or 1 to 11 are competing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Wakey and Lee, 2 solid teams. We need 5 more, that's standard. And the player pool isn't there right now.
No.
To have 5 more teams who are as good as
But
Lee and Wakey and Hull FC and Saints and, you know.
Do you think that's growing? By the fact that we've actually, over the last 5-6 years, gone from it being a top 4 that were clear and 5 and 6 scrape through of who's better of the rest. Actually, now you've got 8 teams competing. Probably 2 clear at the top, but 3 to 8 all trying to get in. I think actually that shows maybe the player pool's just expanding a touch.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if the player pool is in a more healthy position than it was.
Well, it's just when I look across
10 years ago, or a worse position.
Obviously, we were quite young, 10, 11 years ago.
Yes.
So we probably missed the young lads coming through at other places. But like, I look at Hull FC, they've got a few good lads coming through, both the wingers, Logan Moy, is it Logan Moy?
Yeah.
Davy Litton.
Yeah.
Wakefield's got a couple. Saints are bringing a few through, and obviously the ones that always do, Wigan, Leeds, Saints are still doing that. But even Hull KR have give a couple of debuts out this year.
Catalans are getting more.
Yeah,
we're getting more players from the Championship that are coming in and doing well. Like you look at what's that lad called who signed for Hull KR from Bradford? Don't remember his name.
Doro.
Yeah. George Flanagan was signed from the Championship and he's doing really well.
Yeah, I actually think you're looking at maybe a few more just starting to, whether that's produce their own or pick a couple of young lads up from the Championship. And we might only see the benefit of that in 10 to 15 years.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Right, last game.
It was Saints and
I know.
Salford again.
I just feel so bad talking about Salford.
Yeah.
Because it's...
Well, it's very similar to the game we had against Salford. They score a consolation try and all go mad, but they've had loads of points put on them otherwise. Carl Felt scored 4, I think.
4.
Maybe 4. What can you say about this game? Dagnall got his first try.
Yeah.
Well done to him.
Robertson's put a couple of games now.
Robertson's played a couple of games, yeah. He got in the team of the week, which is good for him because he's only just come back from his injury.
We should say Saints have picked up a couple of injuries. Whitby failed the HIA.
He did, yeah.
Sirinen and Batchelor potential misses.
Well, Sirinen went off, didn't he? He limped off.
Yeah, they put that in the highlight reel.
Yeah, for some reason that was on the highlights video, but yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle this, because there's been a weird thing with Saints where they've battered terrible teams and been battered by great teams. So they were back, weren't they, after putting points on Catalan and Huddersfield? They were back. And then they got humiliated at Hull KR, and it was the end of the world again.
Yeah.
Now they're back again because they've put points on Salford. They've got Leeds next week. Then they've got Salford again. So at what point are we actually going to work out how good they are? Or are they just fine?
They're probably just an
And if they're
underachieving
just
side.
fine,
I don't think they're fine.
the supporters need to realise. You don't think they're fine?
And I don't think they're fine because your record can't be so poor against
Against the big teams.
the big teams. What is
That's
it against
one of
Warrington?
Well,
Buzzin?
they haven't won one of those games in 17.
Like, that's not. You can't say a team's fine. If they'd have won 5 of them, close ones, whatever, but generally they get beat, and then they beat the rest of the teams, you'd say fair enough. But
It's just how they were dominated last time out against Hull KR. This time they've dominated another team, and they've got Leeds next. And I'm pretty sure they've then got Leeds again soon.
well, they've got Leeds and then Salford.
But then haven't they got Leeds again soon after that?
Yeah, listen, the next run of games is quite tough. They've got Salford again, but Leeds twice, a trip to Hull, and Lee.
Yeah. So we'll know more about. We keep saying that though. We keep saying we'll know more about them in a few weeks. We won't, because they'll pump all the bad teams. And
You're probably thinking they're going to beat Salford.
well, yeah.
They'll beat Cass at the end of that run. They'll be close in 2 of the games against
Hull and
Lee, Leeds, Hull and Leeds.
It'd be interesting to see what they go to with playing Leeds twice, home and away, in the next few weeks.
I tell you what, I've just looked at and I thought, if they don't win these and they have to win a few games at the end to make the playoffs, they're running to the playoffs. It's nasty.
I think we said that a few weeks ago, but we also said they are going to win these next few.
Yeah,
They're going to win a lot of these next few.
but them teams still fighting. Cass at that point might be in with the conversation
Those
and
teams are still what?
are still fighting to get in the top.
Fighting. I just thought they said fighting.
All of them, apart from Salford,
Yeah.
could, and Salford and Huddersfield.
Yeah.
And if Castle get a good run here, they could be in the conversation. But
I don't think it's going to be a straight shootout last day of the season, St Helens or Castleford to get in the playoffs.
No,
That's
I don't.
It's not going to happen. It would be good for television ratings.
I'd love to know what success is.
Success for Wellens now, given that he has not made a major final in however many attempts he's had now, 3 years worth of attempts, has got to beat him. If you're not at Old Trafford, you will lose your job. Barring some... Well, I can't think of a reason why.
So making the 6 isn't enough. And if you win
Of course not.
if you win week 1,
No, you've got to make Old Trafford now, I think.
yeah,
They haven't made Old Trafford yet. They haven't made Wembley yet, under Wellens. And this is the 6th go. You have got to get to Old Trafford if you're St Helens.
yeah,
There's no other option now.
need a serious,
A serious run.
yeah.
And that's possible because of these next few weeks. They could win and climb the table. They finish 4th. All of a sudden, you've got a home playoff game. You go away, you upset somebody. You're at Old Trafford. Job done. Or it could go the other way.
So
If you finish 6th and get bounced out in the first round by whoever finishes by Leeds, for example, you have to go to Headingley and get bounced out 26-10. Your season has been a huge failure.
yeah, it's one of them. I just think if you finish, let's say you finish 3rd or 4th and you have goal KR and you win, you lose 10-6.
Yeah, okay. So the Warrington of last year,
Yeah.
but they didn't make Wembley. Warrington last year at least got sniffing distance of a trophy and almost beat Hull KR.
But then I think with how bad they've been,
Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, I suppose. We'll
so
see.
they need to beat one of them 3. That's the main thing.
They definitely need to do that.
Because if he doesn't beat any of them, and he's
How many
gone-
chances have they got left? They won't be playing Warrington again, surely.
So they play
They've still got to play us one more, and Hull KR once more,
and potentially once in the playoffs.
and potentially in the playoffs, yeah.
So at the end of this season, if they're none from 20,
Yeah.
assuming one of them would be in the playoffs,
Yeah.
he has to be sacked.
Yeah. I agree.
Moving on to Salford. I'm glad they didn't get nailed.
Yeah.
Like, there's just, you can just see blokes trying the best. But you can't. What can you do?
I don't know. I don't know what we can say anymore. Just look at our comments from any other previous Salford games.
Are you clever enough to edit
No.
the previous clipping and then we can just
I probably could do that, but I can't be bothered.
don't have to repeat it?
I work for a living.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say I looked at Catalan then. I didn't realise how important that consolation try was.
For Catalan?
It had been 4-0 in a row.
Yeah, that would have been the first time ever, I think.
That is an
important consolation try.
I just looked at him and how important that try is because the last 4 games, Saints, Wigan, Hull and Hull KR, can you have a guess at what you reckon that combined score is? Because they've been...
Well, they've only scored 6. I know that. I can get that one right. Let's think. It was 60 in this one. 40-ish against us. 100 let's say 40 a game, 160.
190. Exceeded 190. It's like 50 a game.
I know. Wow.
That's really bad.
Yeah.
2 of them at home.
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry, it just caught my eye. You know, when you're looking at things, that's just
That's
just so poor. Let's finish it off just looking at the table. Obviously, Wigan and Hull KR at the top. KR top on 26 and we're on second in 24.
Yeah.
Leeds and Lee sit pretty on in third and fourth on 20 and 19 apiece.
Going well.
Then you get Saints, Hull, Wakey and Wyre all between 16 and 12. We're halfway through the season.
We are.
We're just over halfway.
Yeah.
Out of them 4, I'm going to assume the top 4 are locked in.
Yes, I would put the top 4 in.
Saints, Hull, Wakey, Wyre. Who makes your 6?
Okay. I'm going to go with the top 4 in the order they currently are. And then I'm going to put...
Sorry, are you saying the top 4 in the current order? Do you think KR stay top?
Yeah, maybe. I think we beat them at home, but they just put points on other teams, and so we'll lose it on points difference.
See, I think someone beats them as well.
Yeah, but I think we'll probably both slip up once.
No, we're gonna finish.
Well, Wigan can finish top for me. I don't, I
Ignore them
focus
2.
more on grand final.
Leeds the same third.
I think Leeds and Lee are going to stay third and fourth. Then
I'm just checking how many times they have to play each other. They've got only 1 game against each other, and it's at Headingley.
Could decide it for Leeds in Leeds' favour then.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with... Oh, do I go with Wakey 5th? I'm going to go Saints 5th, Wakey 6th. And hold my sight.
Do you know what's really interesting?
What?
I'd gone Wakey 5th and Saints 6th.
Yeah.
I think Hull and Wyre miss out. I think Hull FC, the injuries catch up to them.
Well, that's what I was thinking. And I think Warrington same.
I think Warrington are just not there at the moment. George Williams and Sneak could win games by themselves, but I don't think they're quite there.
I also think that Cass will finish ahead of Catalan.
Whoa. So you're saying Cass getting at 9?
Yeah. I think Cass get in at 9, Catalan 10th, and then a big gap. Huddersfield and Salford. I think Huddersfield will finish ahead of Salford because they'll win in the match against each other.
Yeah. Do you think Cass put distance between Catalan? Do you think Cass are confident 9?
No, I don't think Cass have put lots of distance between them because they're 2 points behind now and they've only got 13 games, so they're not going to be like 4 games better off. But I do think that Cass will...
Oh, listen, 3 of them wins have come in the last 6.
Well, yeah, I do think Cass will go ahead of them. I think they'll beat Huddersfield. They've still got Salford to play. They've got each other to play. So I do think that Cass will finish 9th.
I'm sure Catalan have a couple of games to Salford, though. Or only 1. Interesting.
It's mad that we're basically talking about buys. You know, in the NRL where the Raiders have got 3 buys left, or they used one this week, that's essentially what people are counting against Salford.
Yeah.
Shame that, isn't it?
It is. Where did they finish last year? 4th? 5th? I think they finished 5th, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah, because they conceded the home.
No.
They conceded the home.
No, they didn't.
No, they finished fourth, sorry.
It didn't matter in the end.
Yeah, but there was the talk.
There was the talk that they were going to
conceding the
concede
home.
it, but then it didn't matter.
Yeah. And Lee obviously beat them first round of the playoffs.
Yes. The season before that, they just missed out on the playoffs, and the season before that, they finished fourth. So fourth,
7th and 4th.
7th or 8th, and fourth again. Yeah, tricky that.
Yeah, because they made 7th in Warrington.
Warrington just
Last
had
game
it
of the season.
in 2023.
Yeah. Wow, what a change of fortune.
We have.
I've just looked at that lead then of 2023. There's been some serious change there.
Well, the top three all finished on 40 points, and it was Wigan, St Helens, Catalans.
Yeah.
The
Leeds finished 8th.
Wakey finished bottom.
Hull finished 10th.
Yeah.
And are competing in the top 6. But obviously, Wigan have been near the top through all that. Lee have been really consistent, 5th and 5th, and they're competing up in that position here, 4th.
Yeah.
As it stands, Hull KR were 4th in 2023 and are now competing for the top 2, like last year and this year again. So actually,
It's been weird, isn't it, the change in just 3 years?
Yeah, there's been a lot of teams gone up and
Less
down.
than 3 years, I suppose.
And you'd probably say before this season, Catalan have been pretty consistent, have been thereabouts. And last year and this year, they've had a bit of a drop. So, you know what, that might be the hardest thing in rugby league. Staying there consistently. So you've got to give credit to Wigan, Lee and Hull KR for that.
Yeah. And we've got to give credit once again to the women's team, who have extended their unbeaten run by beating Huddersfield.
Yeah.
58-0. So
top of the league.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're, I suppose 9 games unbeaten now, given that they won the first 7, got to the final, won that, and won this week. So going great.
Going really, really well.
So that means our men's first team and our women's first team combined have won their last 17 games. Yeah, I love that as well. Love that. Love that. Let's see if we can get to 20.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
That'd be so nice.
Good, isn't it?
Right, well, Matty, I think that wraps up this episode.
Yeah.
Another good week, obviously 2 points. Doing the job, doing what was needed, and
we'll see you at Wakey.
See you at Wakey.